So I'm excited to take you to Sequoia National Park in California. We just arrived and it's beautiful already with so many great mountain views. You can hear the river running in the background, and we can't wait to show you all the beautiful sights here. I'm Kendra, and this is David, and we're currently back in the United States exploring some jaw-dropping national parks after being stranded in Thailand for a year and a half due to the pandemic. Join us as we discover the biggest trees in the world and share some things you must do and see in Sequoia National Park. And make sure to stay to the end to hear our tips on getting the most out of your time here in the beautiful Sequoia National Park. Sequoia National Park and Kings Canyon have over 800,000 acres of expansive mountain landscapes, big trees, and unique rock formations. Each park will take you 2 or more hours to drive through due to the winding roads and the low speed of 25 miles per hour. And there's just stunning views like this everywhere you look here. And there's lots of little places here where you can pull over and admire the view. Oh, this must be Tunnel Rock. So this is Tunnel Rock, a very unique rock formation just offside the road here in Sequoia National Park. Super nice to just take a quick stop and get some cool pictures by the Tunnel Rock. And you can even climb to the top of Tunnel Rock if you dare. But the true star of the show is the giant sequoia tree, some of which are over 2,000 years old, and which may be the most resilient tree in the world. So what's so interesting about sequoia trees is how resilient they are. You can see this one was caught in a fire by the black hole that's in the center there. But it's healing well. You can see how the bark is starting to cover where it was once burned. So fascinating how this tree can withstand all types of fires over 2,000 years. So I highly recommend taking this big tree trail. It is stunning. It's very flat, easy to walk, and only 0.6 miles. So a good way to experience these beautiful giant trees. Being out in nature like this is so refreshing and so relaxing. You can really unwind and feel at peace when you're out here and have that silence, have the fresh air, and the charming scent of these beautiful trees around you. You'll notice that in the field it's grassy and green, and the field is just too moist and too wet for a sequoia to grow. Instead, they like the dirt and the dry land and grow best in this type of environment. Sequoias actually thrive in an area with fire because the fire clears the ground so they have nice open soil to grow in. Sequoia trees really do have the most perfect symbiotic relationship with natural forest fires because the fires kill fungus that's in the ground that inhibits the tree's growth, and the sequoia pine cones only release their seeds once a fire happens. And the ash from the fire makes the soil fertile enough where those seeds can take hold and new sequoias can grow. This tree is really the king of adaptability, taking something as destructive as fire and using it to grow and be the strongest it can be. We can learn a lot from the sequoia tree. Once a sequoia reaches maturity, it no longer grows any taller, but it does grow wider. That's why these trees have such a large volume and are so huge. So if you can't tell already, I am completely fascinated by these sequoia trees, and I'm in love with this national park. I can't recommend it enough. So at this point, I think the sequoia just might be my favorite tree. How about you? Do you have a favorite tree? Let me know in the comments below. After seeing the butterflies and the wildflowers on the Big Tree Trail, we went to see the biggest tree in the world. The General Sherman tree is over 2,200 years old. Just imagine all the wonders this tree has seen in its long lifetime.
The tree feels really soft, like cushiony, like paper, like a styrofoam almost. It's really soft. It's not hard bark. So it's just, and it looks like it sheds like little dust particles off of its bark. It's really neat. And it's all over the ground like sand. And then,
oh yeah, it feels like paper.
Yeah. And so the tree also, they're ginormous. They're like, I've always wanted to see these trees, and they're bigger in person than you would ever see in a book or magazine, because to take a picture of it would be crazy anyway. It's just so huge, but they're so beautiful, pretty color.
That black dot right there is David, and look at how small he is compared to these two trees. It's so impressive how big they get. Then we were off to see the second biggest tree in the park, the General Grant tree. Be sure to walk behind this massive tree in order to see its spire scar. This easy half-mile loop is filled with enormous trees. It's definitely worth a stop. So even after it falls, a sequoia tree lasts for hundreds of years. This one has been here since 1900, so over 100 years, and it still looks almost the same as it did the day that it fell. In addition to these massive trees, you can also see beautiful overlooks, hospital rock, which includes Native American pictographs, and Crystal Cave, which does require 48-hour in advance booking. Entrance fee here is $35 per car, and that pass lasts for 3 days. So you can come back multiple days to see the park if you don't have time to see everything in one day. If you plan on visiting 3 or more national parks in the next year, I also highly recommend though getting the annual America the Beautiful Pass, which is $80. And that way you can see over 2,000 federal parks in America, all for the low price of $80 per car. So you can have as many people in your car as you like, and they all can go enjoy the national parks all year round with you. If at all possible, try to come to the parks during the week instead of the weekend. We're here on a Monday, and it's so much more enjoyable than when we were here on a Sunday, and there was just loads, hundreds of people everywhere. Now the crowds are much more manageable, and the trails are much more enjoyable. So this park is huge, isolated, and has very limited dining options. So make sure you bring your lunch so you can eat whenever you get hungry.
Okay, there's a lot to know about bears, but bears want food. Okay, so if they approach you, do not throw your food or abandon your food or give them food. Now, if they take the food away from you, don't try to get it back. But you don't want to leave them food, because then that tells them that if they approach humans, then they'll get free food if they do that. Okay, if they scare you enough, you're going to leave them free food. We don't want that, because that could be a child or anybody else and it could be a dangerous situation. As much as you want to, don't give bears free lunch.
So there's always a very small gap between the smartest bears and the dumbest humans. So I almost fell into the dumb human category as I couldn't open the trash can. They have to make the trash cans a little complicated so bears can't get in, but they have to make them simple enough so humans can. Let me show you how you get into this one. You got to stick your hand all the way into this little compartment and push the little metal lock here. So you see when I actually hit the metal end, it opens that way and I can open the trash. I hate to say it, I almost couldn't figure it out. Sometimes bears are smarter than me. What can I say?
Another thing is this park is really large, so you want to make sure you fill up with gas beforehand. There is one gas station in the middle, but it can take you about 2 hours to get to it, and one park goer almost ran out of gas before he reached the station. So be sure to fill up before you come. This park has no cell service, so you may want to download maps for offline use before you come.
So naturally, the biggest threat to this type of national park is climate change. So they're dealing with higher temperatures than usual, they're dealing with low rainfall, and they're dealing with more wildfires. So something that we all need to consider if we want to protect these beautiful national parks and the Sequoia Forest.
After seeing this amazing park, and after you've been able to see this amazing park, I hope that all of us can take concern over global warming and climate change. This park is so beautiful. These trees are so old and so majestic. It's on all of us to be responsible and make sure that these trees last for generations to come. I so love these trees. I so love this park and what they're doing. And I want to encourage everyone to get behind, do whatever you can to recycle and do whatever you can to help prevent global warming.
I can't recommend enough you coming to the Sequoia National Park so you can experience just how amazing, resilient, and adaptable these sequoia trees really are. And if you enjoyed learning about the Sequoia National Park, please give the video a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you can follow our journey throughout the national parks of California and throughout the rest of the world. It's been a pleasure showing you around, and I'll see you next week.